Okay, so Ghost Adventures. Whether you're, a total skeptic or absolutely hooked on every episode, you can't deny it's made a huge mark. It just pulls you in, right? These creepy places, the intense investigations. But maybe there's more going on than meets the eye. Okay, let's unpack this. You probably think you know the show inside out, but today we're doing a deep dive. We're looking into some of the untold truths behind it all. And just so you know, our info for this comes from excerpts of The Untold Truth of Ghostadventures.mp3.
Right. And our goal here is really to pull out the key insights, the important bits from that material you've given us. We're exploring that fuzzy line,
Yeah.
between paranormal entertainment and, well, sometimes startling reality. What's really remarkable, I think, is how the show's themes, the spooky stuff, sometimes seem to bleed into the real lives of the cast and crew, and how investigations just take these completely unexpected turns. It gives us a pretty unique look at the whole genre.
Okay, so let's kick things off with something that really uh, caused a stir in the paranormal world. We need to go back to October 30th, 2009. Remember that special live episode? It was filmed at the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Big event. And during the broadcast, this guest investigator, Robert Guss, he claimed a spirit, like violently knocked an EMF meter right out of his hand. You know those electromagnetic field detectors? Paranormal investigators use them a lot.
Standard kit. They believe it picks up energy fields, maybe indicating a ghost.
Exactly. So this happened live, very dramatic, totally unscripted. Everyone watching saw it.
But here's the thing. That claim, it got debunked fast. It actually turned out Bess threw the meter himself.
He threw it. Seriously.
Yeah. And if you look at the bigger picture, it's not just about one guy tossing a gadget. It really highlights this tension you get in reality TV, especially live shows. The pressure to capture something amazing, something extraordinary, versus just letting things happen.
The pressure for drama.
Exactly. The pressure for drama versus, well, the truth. And it led to a pretty big backlash online, as you can imagine.
And importantly, the show's main hosts, Zach Bagans and Nick Groff, they later admitted it. They said basically there was no paranormal reason for that meter to go flying. We actually have a direct quote from Zach Bagans here from the source material. He said, "After we've finally been able to analyze the video footage here at our office, we have concluded in our professional opinion that we do not believe it. All that any paranormal activity has anything to do with this EMF detector leaving his hand." Wow. I mean, hearing that straight from him.
It definitely makes you think, doesn't it? An incident like that really shapes how we see these kinds of shows, especially the ones dealing with things we can't easily explain. It doesn't automatically mean everything is fake, of course not. But it does shine a light on that pressure cooker environment. Create good TV, even if it means, well, bending things a bit. So for you listening, how does something like this affect your trust, your perception of what's real on screen?
Yeah, that's a really good question. But the show's connection to, let's say, the darker side of things isn't just about stuff happening on camera or maybe alleged hoaxes. Sometimes real life gets way, way scarier than any haunted hospital. The show featured these two paranormal investigators, Mark and Debbie Constantino. Maybe you remember them.
They were quite well known in the field, featured on the show.
Yeah.
And what's just incredibly compelling in a tragic way is how their story ended. KRNV-TV reported they had this really long, dark history of domestic violence. Hidden from view, mostly.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize this is that extensive.
Yeah. And it all came to a head, tragically, in September 2015. Mark killed Debbie and then himself. It was after this long standoff with the SWAT team. Just awful.
That's horrific. Such a chilling real-life story. It's actually so dark that there was talk they might even be featured posthumously on some true crime show.
And it's a stark reminder, isn't it? When we watch these shows, even investigating the supernatural, we're dealing with real human beings. They have complex, sometimes deeply troubled lives off-screen. It really challenges you to think about the bigger picture, the human stories behind the faces we see. What's the reality behind the reality TV?
Absolutely. So, thinking about the people involved, especially the main figure, Zach Bagans, it seems like he really truly lives and breathes this stuff. He puts his money where his paranormal-loving mouth is, cameras on or off. Like, remember in August 2015, he bought Dr. Jack Kevorkian's van.
Oh, yeah, the suicide van?
Right. Paid, what, $32,000 for it? And Kevorkian, of course, notoriously known for assisting in patient suicides. Over 100 people.
And what's interesting there, connecting it to the bigger picture, is what Bagan said he planned to do with it. He wasn't going to use it for ghost adventures, apparently.
No. So just a personal thing.
Seems like it. He told the New York Daily News something like, I want to have it to show recognition to these people and the energy they had at the time of their death. He also said, I can't wait to get it and see what I feel off of it. It called out to me.
Wow. Called out to me.
Yeah. It really blurs that line, doesn't it, between the show, the entertainment, and this really deep, personal, maybe even obsessive quest to connect with that energy, the residue of death that makes you wonder about the motivations, really.
That's some serious personal immersion. But, believe it or not, that's not even the most extreme example. His dedication goes further than collecting macabre items. Here's where it gets really interesting. In 2014, Bagans bought this house in Gary, Indiana.
Ah, the demon house.
That's the one.
Yeah.
He bought it after hearing reports that the family living there was being terrorized by demons. And these weren't just family stories. Apparently, Child Protective Services got involved, and they also witnessed creepy stuff. Backed up the claims.
Right. And digging into this, what's fascinating is that even for Bagans, a guy who seeks this stuff out, this house was too much. It was reportedly too scary.
Too scary for him.
That's what TMZ reported, yeah. He was filming a documentary there, apparently felt this intense, dark energy. He claimed the demons were, quote, the real deal. He even tried to get the house exorcised, but it didn't work. That led him to believe it wasn't just haunted, it was actually a portal to hell.
A portal to hell. That is incredibly intense language. So what do you even do with a portal to hell you just bought?
Well, his conviction was apparently so strong, he paid to have the entire house demolished in 2016.
Knocked it down completely.
Completely. But here's the kicker, as they say. He didn't just demolish it. He had the rubble collected and stored in a sealed facility.
Sealed? Why?
According to the reports, it was so no paranormal energy could escape from it and affect anyone nearby.
Wow. I'm taking it to a whole other level.
It really is.
Yeah.
And it poses a pretty big question for you listening at home. How far would you go? If you truly believed you were facing some dark, unseen force, what would you do? And what does that kind of intense belief, that reaction, tell us about our own minds, our capacity to confront, or maybe even create our own demons?
So quite a journey we've taken there. We've really dug into some pretty wild stories behind ghost adventures.
Yep.
From that live EMF meter incident that got debunked so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
To the incredibly sad real-life tragedy of the Constantino couple, and then Zach Bagans' own extreme personal pursuits, buying the Kevorkian van and ultimately demolishing a house he believed was a literal portal to hell.
Yeah, and if we connect all this back, the big takeaway seems to be how these narratives, these stories about investigating the paranormal, they get deeply tangled up with real life, real events, very strong personal beliefs. Maybe that fundamental human need to understand or maybe just confront the unknown. It reminds us there's always a human element, often profound, behind the cameras.
Absolutely. So here's something for you to chew on. What might be the unseen forces or maybe just the really intense human experiences that shape these stories? Not just the paranormal tales we tell, but maybe even our own fundamental perception of what's real.